Good morning, interwebs. How is everybody today? We're Fabulous Bear. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The best, believe it, tremendous. Welcome to the Bear Report, 21 December 2020. And let's go over here. We're going to paste this up for the patrons. Publish now. Back over to the live stream. We're going to turn this on. Fabuloso. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's go over to Roku in La Studio. And let's see about this bear guy who's got the COVID right there. Get him up on the big screen. Fabulous. There he is. That's my guy. Oh, wait. That's me. Good morning, everybody. 21 December 2020. We got 3 segments this morning. We're sitting at 107.4 thousand subscribers. So if you're new here or if you're lurking in the shadows, please click the like button, the thumbs up. That helps us in our ongoing battle against the YouTube algorithmic robots. And subscribe, because that way YouTube will pretend to tell you when we go live. And share this out amongst your people to prove that you are not crazy. The world actually is on fire. Okay, you're a little bit crazy, but the world is still on fire. 3 segments. We have the threat matrix this morning, the weekly threat matrix, the Russian invasion, straight from the Dance Monkeys, and then current issues. Actually, the vast majority of this report is from the Dance Monkeys at intel@bearindependent.com, or you can go to the website at bearindependent.com, just hit the contact us page, and then drop your little tasty intel nuggets to the Dance Monkeys. That way they stay fed. And if they stay fed, then they don't die. And if they don't die, you continue to get a report. I know, it's this lovely, it's globally inclusive and sustainable, or some bull crap like that. Economic crises. Coffee. It is still being reported that new unemployment claims are far above historical levels. Oh, you think? Okay. Experts are fearing economic crisis as relief talks drag on. UC Berkeley scholars have said that failure to achieve relief could contribute to a years-long economic slump. Well, Berkeley people, this is not an economics class, but let me explain something to you. If you print money out of thin air, it has no value. That also contributes to an economic slump, you moron. But I continue. Others say that even if a stimulus agreement is reached, COVID, the unemployed are still in hot water. The best, believe it, tremendous. Oh. So, actually, lawmakers from MSN.com, which is, of course, a very trustworthy and true site, lawmakers have said over here, look, I trust these people. Look, we can't fist bump. We can't elbow, arm shake, handshake thing. So we'll do the elbow to wrist bump. Because we're cool. We're the cool kids. Look at these dinosaurs. All right. Can I get an asteroid, a meteorite, something? Can we get another dinosaur extermination? Is that some kind of cataclysmic event? Just anything. Ball of ice. Whatever we got. The measure, which Trump is likely to sign, would establish a temporary $300 per week supplemental jobless benefit, less than the $600 provided under the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, or the CARES Act, passed in March, for the next 10 weeks, and $600 direct payments to most Americans, which is less than the $1,200 checks approved in the spring, with $600 payments included for dependents, unless you are a Caucasian male entrepreneur, in which case you'll get nothing. Ask me how I know. The bill, part of a bipartisan spending deal funding the government through 30 September, also includes $25 billion for direct rental assistance, the extension of an eviction moratorium, the extension of the PPP, which is the small business money so you don't go out of... Raise your hand if you own 3 small businesses. Raise your hand if you've gotten a dime of that money. Raise your hand if you don't care about the government's money. Just stay out of my business. Literally and figuratively, stay out of my business. We'll handle it ourselves. Thank you very much. The extension of the PPP Small Business Lending Program and the expansion of its eligibility. Yay! $15 billion in grants for live venues. $82 billion in education funding. $30 billion for procurement and distribution of the vaccine. That's great. I love it. A tax credit for paid sick leave. An end to surprise medical billing. I'm sure that's going to happen. The real monster in all of this, as far as I can see, where did it go? Where is it? Right here. So this is a $900 billion care package from our rulers, the dinosaur class, to us, the peasants. Thank you so much. Please, sir, may I have another? But the measure will be tied to a $1.4 trillion spending bill that will fund agencies and programs through September 30th, the end of the fiscal year. Guys, we are spending money like it's our job. We will be our own economic crisis. And by we, I mean these fine people right here, the ruling elites. I honestly think at this point they're spending so much money because it's worthless. It doesn't have any value. And I think most of you all know where I stand with that. Moving right along to civil unrest. Seattle police are leaving the force with scathing reviews. You think? The hostile work environment and failure to prosecute has made the job untenable for many. The situation is similar in cities that mirror the lax treatment of protesters and encourage defunding of the police. Listen, in Oklahoma, as long as you are a for Constitution law enforcement officer, we've probably got a job for you. If you're not, leave all that puppy dogs and unicorns bullcrap back where you came from. We have a way of dealing with protesters here that's a lot more permanent than many of the ways that you may be familiar with if you're from elsewhere. And this is not bravado. This is truth. You should read the ROEs for Oklahoma law enforcement officers for people engaged in protests. Yeah, I'll just put it to you this way. I would not pick up a brick or a Molotov cocktail or you're going to be taking a dirt nap. And that is not an exaggeration. Praise the Father. Moving right along, sales of firearms and ammunition are still soaring through the roof. Over here from Cheddar, which we know is a hardcore right-wing rag. It's just eaten up with conservatism. Over here from Cheddar.com. Though many businesses were shut down in New York State temporarily, Dark Storm Industries was able to continue manufacturing firearms as an essential business. Thank you, Daddy Government, for your permission for us to continue to do our jobs. Yeah, whatever. On a typical year, we manufacture between 2,000 and 2,500 rifles. Our goal this year is to be able to produce 10,000. Good for you. Huge fan of small business. Not at all a fan of asking government permission to operate small business. Gun purchases in the United States have increased dramatically this year. About 17.2 million background checks in order to purchase a firearm, which has been used as an indicator of sales, have been completed for the first 10 months of 2020, according to the trade organization National Sports Shooting Foundation. It surpasses the previous full-year record of 15.7 million checks in 2016. Many of these weapons are going to people who never owned a gun. Estimated in August that 5 million Americans bought firearms for the first time in 2020. I don't know if you all saw the video from dude who's the president of Federal Ammunition. I love that video. It's about a 4-minute long video essentially saying, I have had it with your BS, saying that we're not producing ammunition. We are working around the clock to produce ammunition. In love, close your faces, because we've been here 24/7, 365 making ammo, but there has been 7 million estimated new gun owners, and if each of those new gun owners bought just 2 boxes of ammo, that would be 700 million additional rounds required just this year alone. And he basically went on to say this is a supply and demand issue, just basic economics. It's not a worldwide conspiracy. It's a supply and demand issue. However, and great video. 5 to 7 million new gun owners, absolutely wonderful, super cool. Was that here in this article, approximately 40% of the weapons are going to new buyers, and 58% of those, I read in another article, were people of African American descent, black folks. Love y'all. I don't. Can I just pause for a minute? Why do I feel compelled to say I love y'all, other than I do? I hate the fact that we now exist in a world where we have to justify everything we say if it's not about the particular race or creed that we are, which is bullcrap. I'm trying to keep it PG today. I know there's a lot of people that watch this show with their children. Trying to keep it PG. But gosh dang, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All men, and women too, regardless of your color. The whole color thing to me feels like a bunch of kindergartners fighting over which is their favorite crayon. It doesn't matter. Just paint a beautiful picture, kid. Get on with life. It doesn't matter. So, I hate the fact that there's some societal requirement to justify every conversation we have that's outside of our own personal ethnic group. I hate that. Ugh. War. The recently publicized ongoing cybersecurity issues involving the compromise of multiple government agencies is significant. We will be getting more into that in our third section. Walmart has announced that it is pivoting away from China and tripling the value of goods received from India. Where did that go? Right here. So here you got Trump shaking hands with this fella right here. President Xi Jinping. Walmart triples India exports as major U.S. companies pivot from China. Walmart announced on Thursday it will triple exports of goods from India to $10 billion each year by 2027 as a nationwide pivot to other trade partners gains strength amid the continuing U.S.-China trade war. Very soon, it is my belief that we're just going to take this word trade right out of there. U.S.-China war. U.S. goods imported from China fell by a stark 16.2% between 2018 and 2019 as the effects of Washington's aggressive stance towards Beijing takes effect. Guys, listen, you're MSN. You can do better writing than the effects of Washington's aggressive stance takes effect in the same sentence, which is damn near a run-on sentence. You should know better. Let's try this. U.S. goods imports from China fell by a stark 16.2% between 2018 and 2019 as the effects of Washington's aggressive stance towards Beijing comes to fruition. There you go. Fixed it for you. Currently, Walmart estimates Chinese suppliers make up 70 to 80% of the U.S. merchandise. 70 to 80% of its U.S. merchandise. Hot damn, yo. According to the Alliance for American Manufacturing, however, following a ramping up of tariffs placed on exports from China under President Trump, 45, a host of others, predominantly Asian countries, are now seeing a marked increase in trade with the U.S. The biggest overall beneficiaries, according to a study from the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the who what? the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. What could they possibly be tied to? It's not the Great Reset, is it? No. It would never be that. There's no global plan to institute stakeholder capitalism and socialism on planet Earth at the point of a gun. That would never happen. There's no reason to use the COVID-19 pandemic to spur on the Great Reset, even though that's exactly what it says at the World Economic Forum's homepage. That would never happen. That's a conspiracy, bro. Just because they said it in their own words 100 times doesn't mean that it's actually true. Just simmer down. Coffee is required. We know this. The biggest overall beneficiaries, according to a study from the United Nations Conference on Trade Development that examines the extent of trade diversion from the trade trade wars, are Taiwan, Mexico, the EU, European Union, Vietnam, Japan, Canada, Korea, and India. Question. Could we get some American-made goods in there somewhere, anywhere? I realize that Walmart is not necessarily the market for American-made goods because American-made goods have a higher cost associated with their production, and Walmart is more of a value type establishment. But, and no shame in that. I do a lot of my shopping at Walmart. But can we get an American option in Walmart? Could you put like the China thing here and then the American thing next to it with prices side by side? That would be cool. That would be, as an American entrepreneur, that would be really cool if we could actually have a compare contrast on the shelf. This one's from China, it costs $100. This one's from America, it costs $180. But if you buy this one, you're putting funds into the Chinese Communist Party. If you buy this one, you're buying bicycles and socks and shoes and paying for medical bills for American entrepreneurs' children. A little compare contrast would actually be a really cool thing so that people can see it on the shelf and actually have an option. Just saying. A report by Moody's uncovered comparable effects and makes particular note of Chinese soybean purchasers turning instead to Brazilian soy farmers. We've talked about Chinese soybean purchasers recently. Christian at the SH Farmers all over that. And then Rome burning. What have we got right here? Attempt after attempt at recourse for the political issues witnessed earlier this year continue to be shut down, causing further loss of faith in the system. We're going to talk more about the election in segment 3 under current issues. And as tyranny drags on, more and more small businesses are succumbing to the pressure foisted on them, while large essential or otherwise privileged corporations are mostly thriving. I mean, seriously, you want to talk about privilege? How about the privilege to be granted essential status during the COVID-19 pandemic? Also, how about this? 1 Timothy 5 verse 8, he who does not work has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. I'm going to claim 0% infidel status and I'm going to take my butt to work. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do what I need to do to feed my family, to build these businesses, to create the revenue, to pay the people that we love, to create products that save people's lives in service to the Most High. I'm not going to ask permission from anybody for my life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness. I'm not going to do it. We're going to see later on in the report, there's some quotes from people from London who are like, I guess this is just the way it has to be. I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be this way. You are soft. You are letting it be this way. The government does not exist to rule over you. Governments are constituted by men, among men, and they derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. Now, we may very well be past that point now, right? It's 2020, baby. At any point, the mothership could pull up right on top of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and the Kraken could jump up out of the Atlantic Ocean, and Godzilla comes climbing up out of the Pacific and starts destroying things, and it'd be like, hey man, it's just another Monday in 2020, whatever. So maybe we're past the just powers and consent to the governed. But if that's the case, if we are actually past that, why the hell are we following the rules when they're not? That's all I'm saying. Think about that one. If we're truly past that, okay, we're past that. Quit living in the past, baby. I absolve you. Be healed. What the hell were we talking about? As tyranny drags on, here we have it. Critical race theory. Have you seen this? Elite New York City schools suffering race meltdown over extreme anti-racist demands, says this report from The Blaze, 20 December, by Paul Saka. These demands by teachers are at a $54,000 per year elite school. What? And it's like K through 12. A $50,000 a year kindergarten? How much glue are you going to eat? How many fingers are you going to paint with? What are you doing in there? Holy crap. All right. The Dalton School, an elite school in New York City, is reportedly experiencing a race meltdown over anti-racist demands by teachers. Some are calling extreme and insane. The Dalton School is an elite pre-K preparatory school on the Upper East Side of Manhattan that has an exorbitant tuition of $54,180, but also prides itself on being extremely progressive. Jim Best, the head of the school, declared that he has, quote, committed Dalton to becoming a visibly, vocally, structurally anti-racist institution. Shut up, Jim Best. The school's website has a commitment to anti-racism page where it outlines its anti-racism vision. The objectives include all Dalton students will have a deep historical understanding of racial and structural inequalities in the U.S. and particularly the history of anti-black racism. And also, this lady wants to sell you a leather jacket. Very cool. The purported demands, some based on critical race theory, include hiring 12 full-time diversity officers and multiple psychologists to support students coping with race-based traumatic stress, assigning a staffer dedicated to black students who have complaints or face disciplinary action, and a full-time advocate to help black kids navigate a predominantly white institution, paying the student debt of black staffers upon hiring them, requiring courses that focus on black liberation and challenges to white supremacy. By the way, I know we've talked about this before, but this reminds me of that. New plan to fund Barristan. Going to the Small Business Administration, going to get a SBA loan, say for like $40 million, for my essential oils and candle business. And when they say, no, you can't have that, I'm going to say, I identify as a black female. And then they're either going to give me $40 million for my essential oils and candle business, or they're going to say, you are not a black female. And if they say, you are not a black female, I'm going to go, how dare you assume my gender and my race? And we will, A, have them on record saying that I am not a black female, regardless of how I identify, and B, sue the ever-living tar out of them for $500 million or more. I mean, hell, they're just printing money now. Let's go for $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Barristan, fully funded, gold-plated AKs for everybody, Toyota Technicals, everybody gets a brand new goat. It's going to be a blast. So, yes, that's correct. If you want to sign up for my pyramid scheme of smelly good candles and essential oils as operated by a proud black female CEO, just go to beardoesessentialoils.com and you'll be good to go. All right. Requiring courses that focus on black liberation and challenges to white supremacy, compensating any student of color who appears in Dalton promotional material, abolishing high-level... by the way, I'm a color. Like, I'm Cherokee, man. See me complaining? Not even a little bit. Ain't even on the rolls, bro. I don't need Uncle Daddy's money. I'm good to go. Abolishing high-level academic courses by 2023 if the performance of black students is not on par with non-blacks. So we just get rid of the course? Okay. Requiring anti-racism statements from all staffers. The point, okay, this goes on and on and on and on and on. They're a private school. They can do whatever they want to do. But this is definitely an indicator of the craziness, in my opinion, craziness that we find ourselves in this world. You know what's not crazy? You know what's not crazy? It's the opposite crazy. When you start a little tiny business, a little itty bitty bitty business with your friends and your loved ones, and we're done with you, Walmart, get out of here. And you start making things that matter, like this right here, and you start saving lives, actual lives, with stuff like this right here. That's handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. Forever. If you break it, I'll send you another one. If you use the contents of this to save somebody's life, I'll replace the contents at no cost to you. These are designed and refined in conjunction with United States Army Special Forces. These are on 4 continents, being used by 4 branches right now. This is the bare minimum. It's about that big. And I love it when I get emails from people who are like, Bear, I had no idea how big your hand was until I got my IFAC. Yeah, they're about that big. Okay? So here it is. This is the bare fact, or I'm sorry, this is the bare minimum. You can see right here everything that's inside of it. You can add quick clot, rolled gauze, SWAT tees. You can add all the things to this. Look at the stitching, y'all. Look at it. Look at it. Handmade. Made in America. Guaranteed forever. Some good reviews right here. 5 stars. Lance on 24 November. I received my bare minimum a few weeks ago and I'm very happy with it. Literally my first thought when I got it was, holy damn, how does Bear open it so easily? This thing is solid, guys. It's made of Kevlar and burlap and Velcro. I swear it has like 20 pounds to pull it open. I get why this is guaranteed forever. Huh. The Glock 19 and medical kits from Travis. If you're here and looking to get the best medical kit available, the big question is you are asking is, do I really need to get a Bear FAC or a Bear Min? Both kits use NAR North American Rescue quality components secured in American handmade pouches, designed with purpose in mind. There's a lot of overlap with the Bear FAC and the Bare Minimum, but the size differences give the kit different capabilities. The Minimum is roughly 1/4 smaller in length, width, and height compared to the FAC. It's also a bit lighter. Both kits will get the job done, but there are situations where one kit might work better, yada, yada, yada. If you're on the fence which kit to get, I think the Bear Min is a great choice. It's the Glock 19 and medical kits. Awesome. So anyway, this right here is the Minimum. You got your combat gauze right up here. You're going to add that at checkout right here. You just click the combat gauze. Got all your colors, red, gray, black, OD green, coyote tan, multicam, Marpat. Yes, that's right, Marpat, for you crayon eaters. Surgical tape, 6-inch North American Rescue trauma dressing, legit nasal pharyngeal airway right here. You got your cat Generation 7 genuine cat tourniquet, nitrile gloves because if it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. And then down here you got the stack. So in the stack you've got your shears, North American Rescue shears, nasal pharyngeal airway, 2 5x9 gauze pads, and 2 high-fin chest seals. So, again, handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. If you break it, I will replace it. If you use it to save a life, I will replace the contents of the kit that you used to save a life. All you got to do is email us at bearindependent.com. You can get these in the store right now. Shipping times have been greatly increased because we have an awesome staff that's working full-time around the clock to get these out the door. And we now have 3 subcontractors on board, not just one, that are producing kits for us. And because you continue to support us and have since October of last year doing this, we are finally able to start building an inventory with these kits. We have the revenue to build an inventory. So bless y'all and thank you Refuge Medical. You can get these also at refugemedical.com. And use promo code BEARNATION for 10% off your order. Okay? Okay. Awesome. Moving right along. What's going on here? 1,208 people are here. Holy cow, in the comments. Look at all this. Kyle's here. Mouse is here. And W.A. Prepper. Good morning, brother. I hope you're getting to feeling better. Fast Eddie. Fast Eddie's here. Oh, my gosh. This Fast Eddie's here. Thank you, whoever gave us $10. Tremendous. Jesse Wellnitz. It's tremendous. Believe it. Believe it, Jesse. Believe it. Average watch time, 6 minutes. We got to get that way up. Come on, guys. And do the thumbs up thing if you could, please. That helps us. 451 likes. What's going on? Back to the report. All right, segment 2. The Russian invasion. All right. Here you go. The Russian invasion. Let me see what I can do here for y'all. I know. The best show. Believe it. According to the DHS, and this reporting again is from the Dance Monkeys, intel at bearindependent.com. Good job, monks. Good job, monks. The Russian invasion of 2020. According to the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, the months-long Solarwinds hack has likely impacted thousands of private companies and government agencies. It may take months to figure out which American networks have been compromised and years to assess all the damage of the attacks, as Solarwinds' client list is very long. Microsoft, 425 out of the Fortune 500 companies, at least 6 federal agencies, 3 states, and the top 10 telecom operators in the U.S. are among them. It was reported that a nuclear weapons agency was compromised, as well as the IRS, Internal Revenue Service. Somebody, please, who's an attorney with a pair of balls, start a class action lawsuit against the IRS right now for having my personal data compromised or potentially compromised by the IRS. Somebody get on top of that, please, and thank you. A Senate Finance Committee ranking member and the Senate Finance Committee chairman sent a letter to the IRS commissioner requesting a briefing on whether taxpayer data was compromised. Quote, the IRS appears to have been a customer of Solarwinds as recently as 2017. Given the extreme sensitivity of personal taxpayer information entrusted to the IRS and the harm both to American privacy and our national security that could result from the theft and exploitation of this data by our adversaries, it is imperative that we understand the extent to which the IRS may have been compromised. It is also critical that we understand what actions the IRS is taking to mitigate any potential damage, ensure that hackers do not still have access to internal IRS systems, and prevent future hacks of taxpayer data. Again, if they're not playing by the rules, why are we? I'm just throwing this out there. And maybe it's just the COVID talking, but damn it, if they're not playing by the rules, why are we? Oh, gosh. We're going to make this country great again. You know what I'm going to make great again? Lamb sausage, beef bacon, ribeye steaks, crops from the greenhouse, Sunday Bible study around the fire with the people that I love. I'm going to make that great again. I'm going to make community great again, because this federal system that we have is garbage. Garbage. Back to the report. It has now come out that other software may have been hacked in the government agency's software supply chain. Woo! Yes! Hold on, that's not cool. In an alert, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency. Really? That's why. Why those words together? Because the government. Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency, which is probably like CISA or something like that, wrote, "This adversary has demonstrated an ability to exploit software supply chains and shown significant knowledge of Windows networks. It is likely that the adversary has," by the way, what a phrase, the adversary. Yeah, just remember that in your daily walk. "It is likely that the adversary has additional initial access vectors and tactics, techniques, and procedures, or TTPs, that have not yet been discovered. CISA, that's a good word right there, has determined that this threat poses a grave risk to the federal government and state, local, tribal, and territorial governments, as well as critical infrastructure entities and other private sector organizations." Boys and girls, let's please decentralize. Please decentralize. What's it, the starfish and the spider? The federal government's just one big spider. You cut off enough legs, it dies. You cut off its head, it dies. The starfish, you keep cutting, you keep making more starfish. Yeah, crazy, right? We talk about monetary return on investment, how monetary return on investment is highest when you deploy your funds, your resources, as close to home as possible, because it has the most immediate impact on your neighborhood, your brick and mortar stores, your local communities, right? The businesses and services that are available to you where you are at right now. That has the highest return on investment for your community. You should be investing your blood, sweat, tears, and treasure locally too, in your local governments, to the extent that you still can, and with people in your community. Small example. It's really COVID-y out there, right? And there's not a lot of movie theaters open. We have a lot of kids in Bear Camp. The exact numbers, none of your business, but we have a lot. And one of our brothers got a tent, a wall tent, and he hung a projector screen in one end of the wall tent, and using bungee cords and paracord and like a cutting board, I think it is, I don't know, hung a projector up in the ceiling of the wall tent, and now there is a Bear Camp movie theater. Minimal investment, huge payoff in the community, because it's a place for the kids to go and experience a semblance of normalcy in 2020. Schools are shut down. Okay, we'll start our own. Boom, homeschool co-op. Why? Because we're surrounded by awesome people who know how to do these things, and we lean on them, and they lean on us, and we are enmeshed as a group, which requires a level of cooperation and intimacy that most people are unwilling to engage in. But because we invest our blood, sweat, tears, time, and treasure locally, and I mean immediately locally, we have a much higher return on investment, and our quality of life is much higher. And as the American experiment in freedom continues to dwindle because of internal corruption and external input, it's going to matter more and more what you do locally. If you don't take the time to build something locally that you're proud of right now, you won't have something locally to depend upon later when the system goes to hell in a handbasket. And so I would just strongly encourage you to build your networks, build your community, build your tribe, your team, your mag, where you are right now. Little things have big payoffs, and the federal system is crumbling. Back to the reporting. Many are pointing the finger at Russia as the attack reportedly, quote, bears all the hallmarks of a Russian cyber attack. Russia, of course, has denied any involvement. At the time of this writing, Trump has not commented on the issue. Well, he has. We'll get to that. But Biden said in a statement, our adversaries should know that as president, I will not stand idly by in the face of cyber assaults on our nation. A good defense isn't enough. We need to disrupt and deter our adversaries from undertaking significant cyber attacks in the first place. We will do that by, among other things, imposing substantial costs on those responsible for such malicious attacks, including in coordination with our allies and partners. I'd like to point out that Joe Biden, not only is Joe Biden senile and incoherent, so are his speechwriters. This doesn't actually make any sense if you just pull it apart and listen. There's going to be lots of people over the next however many years who are going to pull apart everything Biden says. And so I'm not trying to jump on that bandwagon early. I'm just actually trying to pull out. And I by no means get an A++ in my ability to wield the English language, but this is ridiculous. Our adversaries should know that as president, I will not stand idly by in the face of cyber assaults on our nation. Good. That's a decent sentence. A good defense isn't enough. We need to disrupt and deter our adversaries from undertaking significant cyber attacks in the first place. Decent. We will do that by, among other things, imposing substantial costs on those responsible for such malicious attacks, including in coordination with our allies and partners. That doesn't make any sense. That is not a coherent thought right there. I understand what they're trying to say, but not to grammar Nazi this guy to death, but that's not a coherent thought. It's two coherent thoughts that were spliced together in the middle that almost make a thought. Whatever. Moving right along. Microsoft's president called the hack a moment of reckoning and said that it represents an act of recklessness that created a serious technological vulnerability for the United States and the world, calling it an attack on the trust and reliability of the world's critical infrastructure in order to advance one nation's intelligence agency. More bad news is expected in the future months as more about this extensive breach of cybersecurity is revealed. I love more bad news in perpetuity. This should be, we are no longer the Bear News Network. We are now the More Bad News Network, the MBNN. Here we are, the MBNN, the Mobnana. Welcome to Mobnana. I'm Bear, your host. Is Matt Storms here this morning? I feel like Storms would have chuckled at that. Jay Johns is here. Jay Johns is here. Excellent. I'm glad Jay Johns is here. Badger's here. Good morning, Badger. Buck Norris is here. That's wonderful. Jay Johns is still here. All the Blue Wrenches. Thank you, Blue Wrenches. Blue Wrenches matter. Tiger Independent. Good morning, Tiger Independent. You and I shall wrestle, Bear versus Tiger, and we will see who is truly independent of one another. Mad Kelt is here. And thank you, whoever gave us $15. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Angela Purvis. What's up, Angela Purvis? How's North Texas treating you? I hope your hubby's still rocking it in the worship band. Good to see you. Oh, man. Tommy Salter. Shalom, brother. Okay. We talked to Tommy. All is well now. Listen, before I read you this piece on the Russia denying their baseless claims and all of that, we're going to go over here to our friends at venturefrontier.com. Why? Because we love them. And as you can see, the world is a little bit crazy out there. And when the world gets crazy, everybody needs a fluffy bunny or two in their corner. All right? So, yes, patches, stickers, more patches. But armor, let's be honest. Armor. Look at these freaking prices. This is a really good price. Spartan armor, $550. Plate armor with the anti-spall coating And the carrier and the side plates, $300. You can use promo code BearNation for $10 off your armor. Armor has a really low markup, by the way. So the fact that Adventure Frontier gives you $10 off with Bear Nation is very cool because they make next to nothing on armor anyway. To be honest, they're probably hoping that you buy some armor and then while you're here, buy something like a patch or a sticker. You can also get the best first aid kits on the planet. How do I know? I made them. They're right here. The Bear Fac and the Bear Minimum are right here at adventurefrontier.com. You can add those to your Spartan armor. They got all kinds of stuff, though. I mean, if we go over here at shop, look, they got all the things, all the things. You need a helmet? Right here, here's a helmet. Tourniquet holder, Bear Fac, active shooter response kit. Yeah, that's right. Bet you didn't even know about that. Chainsaw first aid kit. Brother Cody from Sojourn Gear and Travis, the NWA Prepper, came up with this. Very cool. Point is, they got all the cool stuff here at adventurefrontier.com. Armor, IFAKs, Fluffy Bunnies. You should definitely check them out. Use promo code BearNation. Stop by. Tell them you love them. They're awesome guys. They rock. And, hey, lift them up in prayer. They got the COVID, like me, too. And it's fine. It's fine. The Bear Camp handshake is just, we're continuing on with the face lick. That's what everybody gets. Hey, good to meet you. Now, I'm doing you a favor because now you have it. So now you have the antibodies. So now you don't have to take the vaccine. That's right. Didn't even think about that, did you? AdventureFrontier.com. Microsoft. Check out all the nerd words are in this. Oh my gosh. I know that there's some people out here that actually understand what this stuff means. I'm not one of those peoples, but this is hysterical, I think. Maybe because I'm me. I've never been a nerd. My fingers are bigger around than this guy's wrist. That's all I'm saying. I don't even know who that is. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, or whatever. Microsoft unleashes Death Star on Solarwinds hackers in extraordinary response to breach. Death Star? Really, bro? Okay. Editor's note, independent security consultant Christopher Budd worked previously in Microsoft's Security Response Center for 10 years. And look, they have a Return of the Jedi quote in this article. Come on. Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station. Come on. Analysis. This week, Microsoft took a series of dramatic steps against the recent SolarWinds supply chain attack. In the size, speed, and scope of its actions, Microsoft has reminded the world that it can still muster firepower like no one else as a nearly overwhelming force for good. Currently. And also, how are we defining good these days? Just a couple of independent thoughts, which get them now while you can, independent thoughts, because they are very likely going to be outlawed anytime in the near future. Patreon.com is our backup to Bear Independent. $1 a month, $10 a year. Get you access to Bear. In addition to everything we do here, 30 to 100 exclusive pieces of content per month there. Yeah, independent thought. A rare thing these days. Through 4 steps over 4 days, Microsoft flexed the muscle of its legal team and its control of the Windows operating system to nearly obliterate the actions of some of the most sophisticated offensive hackers out there. In this case, the adversary is believed to be APT-29, aka Cozy Bear, not to be confused with COVID Bear or Uncozy Bear. The group, many believe to be associated with Russian intelligence and best known for carrying out the 2016 hack against the Democratic National Committee. Shabba-dabba-da, there's a whole bunch of nerdy speak right in here. Here's what they did. The speed, scope, and scale of Microsoft's response were unprecedented. I'm going to take your word on that because I pay zero attention to Microsoft doing anything, honestly. Other than I do know some cool people that work there. But, whatever. On 13 December, the day this became public, Microsoft announced that it removed the digital certificates that the Trojan's files used. These digital certificates allowed Microsoft Windows systems to believe that those compromised files were trustworthy. In this single act, Microsoft literally overnight told all Windows systems to stop trusting those compromised files, which could stop them from being used. Sounds cool. That same day, Microsoft announced that it was updating Microsoft Windows Defender, the anti-malware capability built into Windows, to detect and alert if it found the Trojan files on the system. Next, on Tuesday, 15 December, Microsoft and others moved to Sinkhole, one of the domains that the malware uses for command and control. avsvmcloud.com. Sinkholing is a legal and technical tactic to deprive attackers of control over malware. In sinkholing, an organization like Microsoft goes to court to wrest control of a domain being used for malicious purposes away from its current holder, the attacker. Once successful, the organization can then use its ownership of that domain to sever the attacker's control over the malware and the systems the malware controls. Sinkhole domains can also be used to help identify compromised systems. When the malware reaches out to the sinkhole domain for instructions, the new owners can identify those systems and attempt to locate and warn others. Sinkholing is a tactic that was first used in the big attacks in the 2008-2009 battle against Conficker, and has been a standard tactic in Microsoft's toolkit for years, including most recently against TrickBot. Of course, against the TrickBot. I feel like we're talking about Power Rangers right now. I don't even know what any of this means. Is TrickBot like one of the robotic things that smashes the cardboard cities until the giant and when did Power Rangers start ripping off of Voltron? And they would turn into robots and build a gianter robot that for some reason has guns and a sword. You're a robot, bro. Just punch it in the face. What do you need a sword for? Anyway, number 4. Finally today, Wednesday, December 16, Microsoft basically changed its phasers from stun to kill. Really, nerds? Really? From stun to kill by changing Windows Defender's default action for Solarwinds from alert to quarantine, a drastic action that could cause systems to crash but will effectively kill the malware when it finds it. This action is important too because it gives other security companies license now to follow suit with this drastic step. Microsoft's size and leadership of its platform give cover to other security companies that they wouldn't otherwise have. Yada yada yada, yada yada yada. More nerd speak. Microsoft killed the virus ? But not the coronavirus. The malware virus that was attacking everything. So that's cool. Also, by the way, what is this person doing? What's going on with this person right here? Why are they sticking a water bottle against their ear cheek thing? What's wrong with them? What are they doing? That's not going to work. I don't know what they're trying to do, but that's not going to work. It's not going to work. Anyway, back to the report. Current issues, segment 3. Yes, we made it to segment 3. I don't know how we did it, but we did make it to segment 3. Oh, and of course, Russia. Russia denies that they had anything to do with the attack. There's a whole article on that. Of course they deny they had anything to do with the attack. That's what you do. Admit nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations. Basic. 21 December 2020. Current issues. This is literally disastercoffee.com, and it's literally delicious. More lockdown shockwaves are rippling through Europe after the UK recently announced that more contagious COVID-19 variant is spreading rapidly. London quickly tightened restrictions specifically for this reason, and Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Australia, Belgium have all announced a stoppage of flights to and from the United Kingdom to prevent the spread. Fabulous. The UK has cautioned its citizens abroad to be prepared to stay overseas longer than expected. Fabulous. The timing couldn't be worse for morale. Many complain that the restrictions against mingling households feels more like a ban against the Christmas holiday than against the virus. And of course, from One American News Network right here, reporting by Gerhard May and Ben McCrory, The world closes borders to Britain as new coronavirus strain breeds panic. In Dover, England, more countries closed their borders to Britain on Monday over fears of a highly infectious new coronavirus strain. A new strain. Yes, this is what we needed. Just one more hiccup in the system. A new strain of coronavirus. It's going to be far worse. The global pandemic thus far wasn't pandemic-y enough. We finally rushed out the vaccine for the coronavirus threat. Oh, joke's on you. There's a new strain, and it's worse than ever. And if you people don't behave and get in line, we will be forced to make sure you can't do anything or something. But here's a $600 check for your compliance. Earmuffs, kids. Kiss my hairy white ass. Not playing these stupid games. I am not playing these stupid games. However, in England, apparently all they know how to do, at least, and I'm not lumping everybody into this category, but it seems like societally all they know how to do is play stupid games. Fears of a highly infectious new coronavirus strain heightening global panic, causing travel chaos, and raising the prospect of UK food shortages just days before the Brexit cliff edge. Maybe, this is a diversion, just saying. India, Poland, Switzerland, Russia, and Hong Kong suspended travel for Britons after Prime Minister Boris Johnson warned that a mutated variant of the virus is up to 70% more infectious had been identified in the country. Whoa. While Japan and South Korea said they were monitoring the situation. A slew of countries have already suspended travel, including France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Austria, Ireland, Belgium, Israel, and Canada. The discovery of the new strain, just months before vaccines are expected to be widely available, sowed fresh panic in a pandemic that has killed about 1.7 million people worldwide. More like 1.7 people. I think it's actually only killed 1.7 people. Less than 2 people have actually died from this. I know. I don't mean to make jokes at the expense of people that actually died, but gosh dang, it really feels that way some days. It's like, have you noticed that nobody has the flu anymore? Nope, zero. 0 people got the flu this year. Because the flu shot was so effective this year. I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure. Why is it that we get direct reporting, firsthand reporting from people that work in emergency rooms who are working on people who have been shot in the chest, brought into the ER, who get put on a ventilator, who are then recorded as a COVID-related death because they were on a ventilator? They were shot in the chest. What killed them was bullets, not COVID. But that's a COVID-related death. And this is not like some conspiracy theory. This is like straight up. We have the direct reporting. We see this stuff every day. Again, intel@bearindependent.com. If you have stuff to share with us, intel@bearindependent.com. Please and thank you. That's how we put these reports together so that we can share it out to y'all so that you guys can see it in real time, or essentially in real time. But I'm just not, forgive me if I'm not afraid of this. And see, the fear is the key element, right? This is right here, where is it? Sowed fresh panic in a pandemic that has killed about 1.7 people. Fresh panic is the last thing we need. Panic's not working, y'all. The panic doesn't get it done. This whole pants on fire syndrome, let's shut the whole world down, doesn't work. Now, you and I know that this has never been about a global health crisis. From jump, this has been about crash landing the world's economies. This gets directly right back into the Great Reset. Has nothing to actually do with health. We know statistically, there have been less deaths in 2020 than there have been in previous years during the global pandemic. It's not about health. It's about control. And it's about the control required to move us to a global socialist economy. Stakeholder capitalism, World Economic Forum, the Great Reset, Agenda 2030, China 2027. And this is not a conspiracy theory. It's on their freaking websites. Homepage of their websites. This is what is happening. So, yeah, you need fresh panic. You have to keep people freshly panicking in order for them to allow the government to take care of them. You know, I have a brother yesterday who said, you know, this vaccine is the new gold star. Just pin that gold star right on your chest. Yudin. To the camps with you, Yudin. Well, I'm not a Jew, but I am a believer in the Most High, and I am saved by the blood of His Son. And there ain't a chance in hell you're getting me on a train or a bus or a tractor trailer. Ain't a chance in hell. We'll just leave it at that. All eyes are on the first vaccinations. Televised vaccinations are scrutinized to the extreme. Multiple allergic reactions have been reported, and when 4 employees at Advocate Condell Medical Center developed such reactions, the hospital temporarily paused vaccinations. The World Health Organization has finally admitted in a memo that high cycle thresholds on PCR tests will result in false positives. Several countries have made it known that these tests were not fit for such use. But the timing of this admission is interesting. Perhaps it is just another instance of the World Health Organization being too far behind. Perhaps. And if it is, decentralize. Get away from allowing them to have authority in your life. If it's not, maybe with the vaccine entering the stage, the exit of false positive test results fits just in time with the music that they're trying to play. You change the test, it's given lots of false positives along with the vaccine. Now all of a sudden you have far less positives in conjunction with the vaccine working, and you can show on a graph, you can graph that data to show that the vax is working. We're beating this pandemic. We have to take even further steps to keep this trend up. The problem with the graph is the graph only shows the data you give it. So if your data is fundamentally flawed, your graph will be fundamentally flawed. I know this. Anybody that's like used Microsoft Excel for 9 minutes knows this. But unfortunately, most people are unaware of this or don't even consider that. They don't even consider that if you put bad information into the graph, you get bad information back out of the graph. Intentionally bad information. The World Health Organization finally admits COVID-19 PCR test has a problem. In a statement released, who the hell is this guy? Carrie Mullis, 1944 to 2019. He looks cheery. He actually looks kind of like a fish man. Like, are these gills right here? What's going on with him? Is he corrupted flesh, Genesis 6:4? I'm sure he was a really nice guy with gills. In a statement released on December 14th, 2020, the World Health Organization finally owned up to what hundreds of thousands of doctors and medical professionals have been saying for months. The PCR test used to diagnose COVID-19 is a hit-and-miss procedure with way too many false positives. This World Health Organization admitted problem comes in the wake of international lawsuits exposing the incompetence and malfeasance of public health officials and policymakers for reliance on a diagnostic test not fit for purpose. See this right here? Not fit for purpose. The World Health Organization, I know y'all with small screens are like, I can't read it, Bear. How's that? Can you read that? That's 150%. The World Health Organization admission is that the crux of the problem is a wholly arbitrary cycling process, which means that many cycles were required to detect the virus. In some circumstances, the distinction between background noise and the actual presence of the target virus is difficult to ascertain. The UN body, COVID. The UN body is now clearly looking to distance itself from the fatally flawed test, as a growing number of lawsuits are processing through the courts exposing the insanity of relying on a test that even the inventor, Professor Carrie B. Mullis, said was never designed to diagnose diseases. So the test that got everybody spun up that there was indeed a global pandemic is not designed to diagnose diseases. Nothing to see here, folks. Just stay in your homes and be scared. The global pandemic is going to kill us all if you do not comply. Put on your mask. Stay away from the people that you love. Do not go to work. And the government will let you know if and when you may resume the execution of your constitutionally protected, God-given rights. Or you could look between your legs, realize you have testicles. You could reach around and grab your back and go, oh, that's my spine. And you could stand up and use them. I worry for this country because I see so many people who claim to be patriots that won't stand up. I see so many people that claim to be patriots that are more interested in their multicam plate carrier and their Gucci AR-15 than they are with actually understanding what a constitutional militia looks like and actually protecting freedoms. You think you're not thinking tactically, let alone strategically, if you think the answer to the problem is just men with rifles. Well, we're going to take this country back again. Good luck. Good luck. Honestly, and I mean this with all the love in my heart, good luck. But if your plan begins and ends with you and your buddies with rifles, you're done. And I don't know how many times I have to say it on this broadcast or elsewhere. They, the big they, will only do what you let them do. Stop letting them tell you how to live your life. Exercise your no muscle. No, I'm not doing that. Well, sir, you have to. No, I don't. And I will not. The end. Now, I'm concerned for y'all because we are actually building something here on this side of the camera that has a higher likelihood of being able to weather whatever storm comes next. And I'm concerned that too many of y'all tune in to watch us live our lives so that you can live vicariously through us, or so that you can perhaps garner a bit of information that maybe you didn't have before, and wish and hope, oh, I wish I could be part of Bear Camp. And that's a noble wish. It humbles me. But you need to build your own camp. You need your own team. You don't need somebody to take care of you. The government, or me, or anybody else. You need to take care of yourself. You need to build a life worth living now. For any day of the week. Or end times actual. Don't use this channel as escapism. Don't use what we do, our blood, sweat, tears, and treasure, as some cheap entertainment, because it's not. It's our lives. And if we can motivate you with our lives so that you perhaps would engage in building a life worth living now, regardless of what might happen in the future, you're going to have a higher likelihood of making it, whatever might come. But this is not a fantasy over here on this side of the camera. It brings me no joy to have to worry about what the future might hold and what kind of world my children are going to live in. But I'm not going to stand idly by and let it just happen. And I would encourage you too, if you're watching this, to not stand idly by either. Because they will not do anything unless you let them do it. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. Election chaos continues. Who'd have thought? Two Georgia poll workers who had separate claims of voting irregularities during the presidential election have been terminated. A Democratic Party official in Michigan has been arrested on 6 felony charges for forging and falsifying ballots, and it was reported that Trump mentioned the idea of imposing martial law during a White House meeting. He has claimed that was false reporting. After a legal threat from voting technology company Smartmatic, Fox News is now fact-checking its own hosts that added any legitimacy to claims of election fraud in a news package that has already aired several times. Wonderful. Fox News has to fact-check its own people now. People are tired of it all, but often feel powerless to do anything about it. As 2 Londoners told DW News, after the newest restrictions were announced just ahead of the anticipated holiday, quote, I'm kind of upset about it, but what can we do? Just have to hope for the best and go by the rules. End quote. It's not great for business. It's not good news for people, but I guess there's no way to avoid it. End quote. Britain, for the love of God, grow a pair. I'm kind of upset about it, but what can we do? Really? Now, I understand that here in America, we have a slightly different spirit than y'all do over there, but I'm seeing this same spirit gaining more and more of a foothold here in America. Our forefathers didn't get on wooden ships and sail halfway across the world to come here to worship their Creator as they see fit without governmental interference, so that their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren could roll over and die because the government told them to. Remember what you're made of. Remember where you come from. You better figure out where you're going. If you don't have a vision for your life, for where you're going, and if you don't know who you serve, I can guarantee you the government will give you a vision for your life, and they will tell you who you're going to serve. Figure that out now. Well, you still can. And I mean that in love. While you have the leisure of time to figure that out now, figure it out now. It's not great for business. It's not good news for people, but I guess there's no way to avoid it. Yeah, I guess. Or you could stand up and say, no. Make me. Make me. Arizona GOP fight against voter fraud continues. Arizona, does anybody even care anymore? I don't even know that I do at this point. Holy cow, look at those comments going. Look at that. Look at that. Bear, how come you don't read the comments? Do you see that? You see how quickly? Look at that. Look at that. Bless y'all. Oh my goodness. Arizona Republican chairwoman Dr. Kelly Ward refuses to back down from the war on election fraud. Copy. On Saturday, Ward took to Twitter to slam the supervisors in Maricopa County who refused to hand over voting material from the 2020 election. This election is far from over, Ward stated. Anyone who is telling you differently, whether it's in the media, whether it's the Democratic talking head, or whether it's the Republican establishment, is just avoiding the facts. Copy that, Kelly Ward. Here, this seems to be some nonsense she said on Twitter. If we hit that button, she would talk, but why? On Tuesday, state lawmakers issued 2 subpoenas to Maricopa County in hopes of obtaining electronic images of all mail-in ballots. They also hope to perform a forensic audit of ballot tabulation equipment. Maricopa County breaking. The Board of Supervisors has officially responded to 2 blah, 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 blah. Some of the county's board members claimed blah, blah, blah. Disenfranchised, subpoena, blah, 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 tabulation, blah, 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 where a judge will decide whether or not to enforce the subpoenas. Meanwhile, efforts against election fraud are underway. 2 legal cases, blah, 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 blah. We will find out if they are going to accept it and if they're going to allow us expedited consideration. Blah, 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 blah. Safe harbor of December 8th. Is it constitutional? Did it give us enough time to discover and expose everything that was going on related to our presidential electors? The court has yet to confirm if they will take on the case. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I find it difficult to get a little spun up at this point about all of this. I have no great hope that President Donald J. Trump, I have more hope, honestly. I have more hope that this lady with the water bottle stuck against her ear over here is actually going to fix herself than I do, unfortunately, at this point, that President Trump has a second term in the office immediately following his first. Essentially is reelected. I think at this point, and make no mistake, I would prefer, personally, that Donald Trump remain president of the United States. I would deeply prefer that. I'm more hopeful that this lady with the water bottle stuck in her ear is going to fix her problem than I am that Donald Trump is going to be reelected right now. Is there a possibility? Yes, there's a possibility. Do I want that to happen? Yes, I want that to happen. Does what I want dictate how the world works? No, not even a little bit. So again, shift your perspective from the macro, big picture stuff to the micro. You, your wife, your children, your church, your community, your neighborhood, where you are, you have zero control over the macro picture. If you did, we wouldn't be having this massive voter election fraud issue that we're having right now. You have zero control over the macro. Out of your hands, sweetheart. Focus on what you can focus on down here in the micro. Because I want Trump to get back in office. I am not hopeful for it. Put your hope not in man. Call no man master but your Father in heaven. So words of Messiah. This lady with the water bottle stuck in her ear has a higher likelihood of getting it figured out than this Arizona GOP, what's-her-face, Kelly Ward does, in my humble opinion. Hoping, which is not a strategy, hoping to be proven wrong. Listen, your election results might be a disaster, but your coffee doesn't have to be. Disastercoffee.com, right here, it looks like this. Bold coffee, fueling disaster relief. And you can scroll down. They've got all these different products right here. The Black Rifle Refugee Bundle. That's a good, I didn't even know that existed. 3 12-ounce bags of supply drop, rapid response, and pandemic blends. I'm drinking the pandemic blend this morning. Good stuff. I really like the rapid response. I'm a big fan of this. The cocoa, caramel, and vanilla. I'm a big fan of that right there. And I haven't tried this, the dark humor and dark French roast. I haven't tried this from the MOF podcast yet, but I'm going to. And these are the bunker beans that they have. So if you want a 5-pound bag of unroasted green beans to throw, not like green beans like Blue Lake 248 beans that you grew in your garden, but green coffee beans right here that you want to store long term in buckets in your underground missile silo for when the world ends. You can get some bunker beans right here. $35 for 5 pounds of coffee is not a bad deal at all. So this is disastercoffee.com. They're supporters of the show. They're supporters of Grindstone Ministries. And yes, in fact, right here, right at the top, you click Grindstone Ministries. It takes you to Disaster Coffee's involvement with Grindstone Ministries. And so they're a great company. And they started their business specifically to generate funds to donate to charities like us, so at Grindstone. So disastercoffee.com. Awesome. Amendment 1, preparedness right here as another huge supporter of Grindstone Ministries. And so if you need prepper camo gear, they've got it at Amendment, the number 1, preparedness right up here. You can see that. I mean, dude, everything they do is awesome. Here's a, what is that, a 30 cal can? Yeah. 30 cal can. 30 cal can with a radio in it, battery backup. There's your radio, there's your antenna input. You got a speaker right here. You got the on-off switch, jack for your headphones. You've got your voltmeter right here. Good to go. All of it inside of a ammo can, $269. They rock. They rock. And they're huge supporters of Grindstone Ministries. So as always, we thank them. And as always, we encourage y'all, if you need prepper camo gear, check out amendment1preparedness.com. And Sanctified Supply Co. You see this, where did the handsome man go? So right here, I've been known to rock the Sanctified Supply Co. gear occasionally. And I just happen to be rocking the Stay Humble and Kind shirt today, as you can see right there. They've got all the cool stuff. Hey, I know these people. I don't know that people right there. Never met that people. But point being, they rock. 10% of all of our proceeds go to support Grindstone Ministries. And they make awesome gear. They make this stuff. They print these T-shirts. Lucia and Jerry do. And they make these stickers and they ship all this stuff to you. And they are an awesome small company that is growing rapidly because of the Bear Nation. So shout out to the Bear Nation. You got your Grindstone Benefit t-shirt right here and a Grindstone Benefit hoodie as well. And as always, the unofficial uniform of the Bear Nation, the Stay Humble and Kind t-shirt, which is right here, right there. I'm clicking it. Look, I clicked it. Load! Okay, it did load. My bad. Hey, look, it's Jerry. There's Jerry right there. So cute. Anyway, you guys know the deal. SanctifiedSupplyCo.com. Silver linings. All right. Recently, quote, this is from a Bear National. Recently, I've begun storing a modest supply of medical supplies and food. It has been a rough start, but the Father provides. My own tactical toddler watches Bear's live streams and loves him. I'm honored. Quote, we just welcomed our third son into our family. Albeit still not in an ideal location, we are getting settled into a couple of acres of property with a pond. Purchased a half cow to be received early next year. Got our chicken coop so we can get our chicks next spring. And trying to store food to the rafters. Still indeed a work in progress. Well, good work. Congratulations on your third son. And keep doing the things. I don't know if we have 3 weeks, 3 years, or 3 decades before America as we know it slides off into the abyss. But I do know that if you seek the Father's face, you work diligently to do the things that he commands us to do, and if you follow these convictions to be prepared, and you work on your local community right where you are at, you will have a life worth living. Far more worth living than what I have experienced in the 7 lives I've lived up to this point. So good on you. Keep going. Keep going. And another viewer here says, quote, this is a testimony to the Father's power and authority. 3 years ago, my sister-in-law in RN developed a rare and very aggressive cancer. Half a year later, my brother married her. This particular cancer has a 100% mortality rate and usually lasts about 6 months. By the Father's hand, she was blessed with the best doctors and a sheer iron will. She makes most men look like kittens at this point. My brother was blessed with gaining a better job and more pay and better hours. She's still in good spirits most days, and my brother provides by working all that he can, over-the-road truck driver. Please pray for her full recovery and pray for the strength to carry this burden for my brother. While this isn't as cheery as gaining multiple acres in the middle of nowhere, starting a mag, or typically doing the things, it does illustrate his blessing over all of us, even if it looks like a less than ideal situation. Thank you again, Bear Nation. You all are amazing. Yes, you are, Bear Nation. Before we pray, oh yeah, if you're new here, we pray. This is the part where some of y'all are going to jump off because you just can't stand it, and that's okay. My prayer for you is one day you will be able to stand it. And if you don't know how to speak to the Father because it's been a long time since you have, you can just listen. Just hang out with us for a minute while we do this. First, we are going to get this off of my screen. First, a little Psalms 71. In you, O Yahuwah, I have taken refuge. Let me never be ashamed. In your righteousness, deliver and rescue me. Incline your ear to me and save me. Be to me a rock to dwell in, to go into continually. You have given the command to save me, for you are my rock and my stronghold. Rescue me, O my Elohim, out of the hand of the wrong, out of the hand of the unrighteous and the cruel, for you are my expectation. Master Yahuwah, my trust from my youth. Upon you I have leaned from my birth. You took me out of my mother's womb. My praise is continually of you. I've become as a wonder to many, but you are my strong refuge. My mouth is filled with your praise, your splendor all the day. Do not cast me off in the time of old age, when my strength fails. Do not forsake me, for my enemies have spoken against me, and those who watch for my life have taken counsel together, saying, Elohim has forsaken him. Pursue and take him, for there is no one to deliver. O Elohim, do not be far from me. My Elohim, hasten to help me. Let those who are adversaries of my life be ashamed, consumed. Let those who seek my evil be covered with reproach and confusion. But I continually wait and shall praise you more and more. My mouth recounts your righteousness, your deliverance all the day. Though I do not know their numbers, I come in the might of Master Yahuwah. I make mention of your righteousness, yours alone. Elohim, you have taught me from my youth, and to this day I declare your wonders. And also, when I am old and gray, O Elohim, do not forsake me, until I declare your strength to a generation, your might to all those who are to come. For your righteousness, O Elohim, is very high. You have done great deeds. O Elohim, who is like you? You have shown me great and evil distresses. Revive me again and bring me up again from the depths of the earth. You increase my greatness and comfort me on every side. Also, with the lyre, I praise you for your trustworthiness, O my Elohim. I sing to you with the lyre, O set apart one of Israel. My lips shout for joy when I sing to you, even my soul, which you have redeemed. My tongue, too, utters your righteousness all day long. For those who have been seeking my evil have been put to shame and have become abashed. Good morning, Father Yah. Father, first and foremost, we lift up this woman and her sister-in-law with this cancer. Father, I pray that you would be indwelt in that situation. Father, we just come together in agreement and ask that your will would be done, and selfishly ask that your will would be a miraculous healing, that you would work in ways that are truly undeniable to everybody involved, that you would manifest yourself inexplicably, and that this would be an opportunity for witness and testimony for everyone involved. Father, we lift up this person's husband and ask that you would give him the strength to endure, to not lose hope, to seek your face even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when it feels like his guts are being ripped out. To know that you reprove and instruct those whom you love, and that the evils of this world in no way reflect your love for us, that you are there to comfort us and strengthen us through these times. Father Yah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to pray as a body for people that we don't even know. Father, thank you for the opportunity to do this every day, and for using this little channel for your glory to the best of my broken ability, Father, and for growing it and for blessing us and for doing this with us, not just through us, and for allowing us to see how amazing and powerful you are. Father Yah, if there's anything within the sound of my voice or anything within me that is not of you, we rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Father, please fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, for strength and power and authority in the face of adversity, for wisdom and discernment, Father, in a world filled with lies, for healing, internal and external, and for peace that surpasses all understanding. Father, thank you. Thank you that even in the middle of a storm, we might still find words to thank you. Thank you for being sovereign over all things. Thank you for making a way for your people to come home to you again through your Son, and for giving us a life and teaching us how to live it. Father, I lift all these people up to you, lay them at your feet, and ask that you would protect them and provide for them and bless them this day. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Bless y'all. Have a happy Monday. Go be the light, Bear Nation. Shalom.